Examine the nature and significance of the Directive Principle of State Policy Constitution. Answer. The Directive Principle of State Policy DPSP are a set of guidelines that are fundamental to the governments of India but are not legally binding. This state policy borrowed from the Irish Constitution. The makers of our Indian Constitution incorporated this principle in Part 4 of the Constitution from Article 36 to Article 51. The directive principles are some affirmative instruction to the state authorized to secure to all citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. This principle underlines the philosophy of democratic socialism to secure the high ideals set forth in the preamble to the Constitution. The directive principle of state policy incorporated under Part 4 from Article 36 to 51 possess the following nature. Directive principles of state policy are some instruction to the state for achieving socio-economic development. Directive principles of state policy are not enforceable in the courts and no one can go to the court for its proper implementation. Directive principles of state policy are positive in nature. This principle increase the power and function of the state. Directive principle of state policy aims at establishment of a welfare state by securing social and economic justice. These principles are based on socialist thinking. These principles are indispensable for socio-economic development of our country because welfare and justice are the twin objectives of our constitution. These principles have great moral value also. It constitutes the conscience of our constitution. No responsible government can dare to go against these principles. These principles of state policy constitute the mirror of public opinion. These principles always reflect the will of the people. These are embroidered in the Constitution to meet the aspiration of the people. These are fundamental in the governments of the country. The state should follow these principles for progress of the country. The directive principles have great constitutional significance. They have been declared to be fundamental in the government of the country, and it shall be the duty of the state to apply this principle in making laws. Article 37. Though these principles are not enforceable in the courts, yet no government would dare to ignore them. Every government should take steps for implementing directive principle of state policy as far as possible, or else it would be criticized on the ground of non-fulfillment of the directives. This principle represent the deliberate wisdom of the nation and act as a constant reminder to the state for the implementation of the same. Inclusion of directive principle in the Constitution always gives a constitutional recognition of the responsibility of the state to promote the social and economic welfare of the people. The 42 and 44th Amendment emphasize the socialistic goal of the Indian polity that every state has a positive duty to ensure to its citizens social and economic justice and dignity of the individual. Thank you.